Have you ever wondered what you would endure for the person you love? What lengths you would go to, what dangers you would face, just to see them one more time? Today, we're diving into a story that asks these very questions. A sweeping epic of love, war, and survival set against the brutal backdrop of the American Civil War. This is the story of Cold Mountain. Our tale begins with W.P. Inman, a quiet carpenter from the small town of Cold Mountain, North Carolina. Right before he leaves to fight for the Confederacy, he shares a fleeting yet profound first kiss with Ada Monroe, the refined and educated daughter of the town's new preacher. This single moment becomes the anchor for his entire existence, a promise of a life he desperately wants to return to. The film then throws us headfirst into the visceral horror of war. We see Inman at the Battle of the Crater, a bloody and chaotic scene that leaves him severely wounded. Lying in a squalid hospital, surrounded by death and despair, Inman receives a letter from Ada. She's struggling back home. Her father has passed away and she begs him, "Come back to me. Come back to me is my request." This letter is the final push he needs. Fed up with the senseless violence and driven by his love for Ada, Inman deserts the army and begins the perilous journey of hundreds of miles back to Cold Mountain. His journey is anything but easy. The home front is as treacherous as the battlefield. He becomes a fugitive, hunted by the ruthless Home Guard, a militia tasked with capturing deserters. Along the way, Inman encounters a vivid tapestry of characters who represent the best and worst of humanity in a nation torn apart. There's a corrupt preacher named Vizi, whom Inman saves from being drowned by his own congregation for impregnating a young woman. Together, they navigate a dangerous world, narrowly escaping capture and witnessing heartbreaking acts of cruelty. Inman also meets a young man named Junior, who betrays him and Vizi to the Home Guard for a bounty. This leads to a harrowing sequence where Inman and other deserters are chained together and marched away, only for them to be ambushed by Union soldiers. In the chaos, Inman survives, but the experience leaves another deep scar on his soul. He finds brief moments of solace, too. He's taken in by a lonely war widow named Sarah, who offers him food and shelter in exchange for protection for her and her infant child. This encounter is tense and tender, highlighting the constant threat of violence from roving soldiers and the desperate need for human connection. Inman's interactions with these people are not just detours. They are trials that test his resolve and strip away the veneer of civilization, revealing the raw essence of his character. He is a man of few words, but his actions speak volumes about his integrity and his unwavering goal. Meanwhile, back in Cold Mountain, Ada's life has completely unraveled. Raised as a city girl, she's utterly unprepared for the harsh realities of running a farm Black Cove by herself. The land is neglected, she's on the verge of starvation, and her spirit is nearly broken. She is a fish out of water, trying to survive in a world she doesn't understand. Her only connection to Inman is the memory of their kiss and the letters she writes, unsure if they will ever reach him. Just when Ada is at her lowest point, a force of nature arrives in the form of Ruby Thews. Ruby is everything Ada is not. She's coarse, pragmatic, and fiercely independent. Sent by Ada's neighbor Sally, Ruby takes one look at the dilapidated farm and Ada's helplessness and gets right to work. She teaches Ada how to plant crops, mend fences, shoot a gun, and survive. Ruby is a fascinating character in her own right. She's the daughter of a deserter musician, Stabra Thews, and has a cynical, world-weary view of life. Yet, beneath her tough exterior is a deep capacity for loyalty and friendship. The relationship that develops between Ada and Ruby is one of the film's strongest pillars. They are two women from completely different worlds who forge an unbreakable bond, a sisterhood born from shared hardship and mutual respect. Together, they transform Black Cove Farm from a place of despair into a sanctuary of resilience. As the seasons change, both Inman and Ada endure their own forms of torment. Inman is physically and emotionally battered, witnessing betrayals and acts of unspeakable violence. He's forced to kill to survive, and each act weighs heavily on him, chipping away at the man he once was. His journey becomes a spiritual pilgrimage as much as a physical one, a desperate attempt to hold on to his humanity in the face of so much inhumanity. Ada, on the other hand, undergoes a profound internal transformation. Under Ruby's guidance, she sheds her former identity as a helpless belle and discovers a strength and capability she never knew she possessed. She learns to connect with the land, finding a sense of purpose and belonging that she never had in her old life. She becomes a woman of the mountain, strong and self-reliant. As winter descends, the net closes in. The leader of the local home guard, Teague, is a sadistic man who terrorizes the community, using the war as an excuse to settle old scores and exert his power. He has his eyes on Black Cove Farm and poses a constant threat to Ada and Ruby. He and his men hunt down deserters with a chilling lack of mercy, including Ruby's own father, Stabrod, who has returned to the area with his musician friends. Finally, after months of walking, hiding, and fighting, an exhausted and wounded Inman makes it to the outskirts of Cold Mountain. He's a ghost of his former self, a man haunted by all he has seen and done. He finds Ada, and their reunion is everything we've been waiting for. It's quiet, emotional, and powerful. They have both been changed so profoundly by the war, but the love that fueled their endurance remains. They spend one perfect night together, a brief, beautiful respite from the war that still rages around them. It's a moment of pure connection, a glimpse of the future they both fought so hard to reach. They make love, finally consummating the promise that has sustained them for so long. But this is a story steeped in the harsh reality of war, and happy endings are fragile. The very next morning, Teague and his home guard corner Inman, along with Stabrod and his friend Pangle. A final, desperate gunfight erupts. Inman and Ruby manage to kill Teague and his men, but in the chaos, Inman is fatally shot by Teague's young, ruthless lieutenant. He dies in Ada's arms, on the very mountain that was his destination, looking at the woman who was his reason for living. It's a devastating, heartbreaking conclusion to his epic journey. He made it home, only to be stolen away in the final moments. The film doesn't end in complete despair, though. An epilogue, set a few years later, shows Ada and Ruby still living on the farm. The war is over. And Ada is not alone. She has a daughter, Grace Inman, a living legacy of that one perfect night. The final scene shows them all: Ada, Ruby, Ruby's reconciled father Stabrod, Sally's family, and little Grace having an Easter celebration. Life has moved on. The farm is thriving, a testament to their resilience. Cold Mountain is a powerful reminder that war's impact is felt far beyond the battlefields. It's a story about the cost of violence, the strength of the human spirit, and the enduring power of love to guide us through our darkest journeys. Inman's quest was to return to a place and a person. But in the end, the story shows us that home is not just a location, but a community you build and the love you carry forward. What did you think of this epic? Let me know your thoughts on Inman's journey and Ada's transformation in the comments below. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into cinematic masterpieces. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.